Welcome back to PCM Yeti episode 120. We are heading into stage 14 with 3 cat climbs. Very difficult ones before we then head into a less challenging, but by the time you reach it, exhausted and without team support, it'll end up still being a very difficult final climb. And in terms of the team and where we're at, this really what I wanted to show you is motivation remains high for almost everybody. Ponemar, the substitute, right, due to the injury, he doesn't have any bonuses, but at least it's not negatives. But Derek G woke up this morning not feeling well, so it's knocked him down a peg from where he was. But Lind is finally on a fitness peak. That's 2 riders now, and Jouet, and you can see that their expected is beyond the +5 maximum, so they should be easily reaching that +5 status. But Haddad's looking at a +3 now. Montez has been, and these are all upgraded by about a point from where they were today. Better weather, not sure what the case may be with that one, but that's at +4 on his expected for the day. And he is the next one who would reach a fitness peak, but at 70.5. Doing the math, I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't think it's going to happen. So he's going to end up, hopefully, able to hang on to like +3s, +4s daily and be competitive, because obviously him on a 0 would not fare well, especially without much in terms of climbers behind him. And Haddad, most every time we have a good, proper climbing day, tends to have a negative race day condition draw. But the plan for today is to try to get as many riders as we can over the first 2 climbs. And then on the descent after the second climb, we want to maximize recovery. Try to get everybody back up to full or as close as we can to it. We're only descending halfway down the mountain, so that is a factor in that one, but it looks fairly straightforward on the descent, allowing for a good amount of recovery. This climb is going to be very important. We can't afford to get dropped. However, we want to use the minimum amount of energy possible to get over that one. So we're going to have to very, very carefully balance that. And then if at all possible over this descent, if there's any chance to get some recovery in, we want to do so. However, it's also going to be important that, and we've got plenty of time to make it happen, but it's going to be important that if we drifted on this short climb to the back to save energy, we are going to have to slowly make our way back towards the front. I think saving the energy here is more important than an ounce of recovery here, as you can save a lot of energy versus not recover a tiny bit. But we've got to make sure we're back in position really before the sprint point or just after, as we're going to get false flat before you then go into the final climb, where hopefully we still have some riders around Vatsek at that point. Otherwise he'll be in trouble if he's solo or down to 1 or 2 guys with him. But if we've got a lot of team remaining, then we'll be in good shape for the final climb. If it's down to that 1 or 2 guys, wish me luck. When the breakaway had a dozen riders, I was fine with them going away and not getting involved, because it's really complicated, especially without micromanaging and pausing a lot, to run a breakaway and riders in the peloton without something happening in one group or the other and you not noticing. Oh, Ponemar's done. Jouet, go on ahead. When another 20 riders decided to attack, 23 riders actually, I had to pause and go look and see what was out there and go, well, one, this group looks like it could go take a victory today, and you could see guys gain a bunch of time and see it not go terribly well. I decided to follow. We weren't very far behind, however, it was 20 plus riders. And so they, with teamwork, were able to quickly make contact with the front group. And now Jouet is approaching the base of the climb, as he's just about to make contact, but he's got nothing left in the tank, and he's only going to just get here. We've got to at least at this point try and then sit on, but there's no way we're going to make it over the climb with them, as he does make the contact, and Potamar is back into the group. We can switch somebody off of duty. Let's see, probably Zayats. Yeah, Jouet already dropped. They're not even climbing. Well, now they're just starting to climb. So this is not going to pan out, because he's going to get caught by the peloton fairly quickly and probably be in some big trouble. We need to get him in a recovery kind of mode, and everybody else at 77 is struggling. So the one time, right? And I swear it's because we try to put somebody in the break, right? 36 riders go away. Peloton doesn't care, doesn't chase. Most of them have riders in that group. They're going to let them take 10, 15, 20 minutes. No problem. 6 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. We put somebody out there and suddenly they decide to ride. That is the AI since the 2023 version, since they turned it up, especially on this difficulty. It's just frustrating that it's you versus the entire peloton. It's us versus an entire 36-man breakaway. There's just no love or support. So we're down to 2 minutes, and we've got to get some recovery in. You got to ride just that hair slower to get the heart rate down. Yet it's not changing. We've backed off a lot. Come on, you got to get heart rate below that 140 mark. Come on, Shui. Because now you're going to come back to the peloton really fast this way without recovering. This is going horribly for him. 9K to go to the top of the climb. So we don't make contact because, again, we're chasing 20-something guys, so it's not going to happen, even though we were only that handful of bike lengths away. Potamar, meanwhile, is wasted as well, so this is not panned out at all. But again, if I didn't put them in, these guys probably have a 10-minute break. So at least Jouet has done us the favor of blowing up his own white jersey potential in order to stop another 6 riders from gaining half an hour and bumping us out of the top 10 entirely with Vatsek. Back to the group with no energy. And now riders are attacking. Gusteau, of course, decides to attack. But the group's not riding. This is what I was talking about. What changed? What changed up there? We were there, they were chasing. We're not, they stopped chasing. The group suddenly has 5.5 minutes. So, do I press on and be the ones to chase? Otherwise, these guys are going to gain the 30 minutes. Or do I attack, and then they're going to chase me? I'm going to set Lind to ride for a bit, because it's quite clear, it's quite obvious that this group's going to have an absolute mega advantage if we don't do something. First rider out the back. Will he make the time cut? There's 100K to go for him to ride solo. Is getting recovery right now, but he is dropping out the back very quickly. There you go, with that little lift in pace. Took a minute for it to kind of slow down, but Jouet is nearly in contact. To get back on board, Jouet already starting to recover. Gap opened a little bit by slowing down. 6 minutes, Jouet now in recovery. He's at least got a couple riders with him. Yeah, Jouet's going to get less recovery, but, I mean, the heart rate's still low. And he is almost back up to the group. But he also can't do what he's doing and expect to go anywhere and do anything, as everybody else is full strength. But he is back into the group. He is back into the group. We'll just have him sit on, and can I give him a rider like Zayats? Let his heart rate come down, and then we will gradually bring him forward. Rough day at the office. Gap's holding at 6 minutes. DSM not riding. That is DSM, isn't it?
This climb is feared by many riders.
Front group split off a few riders. It's down to 27. But again, no tempo. No tempo in the chase. So we're going to have to go back to climbing. So Jouet is... Can we... Let's see, what can we do? While they don't climb, can we come forward gradually? Steeper bits. Back here it feels like they've accelerated. Yes, they've accelerated some. The gap opened to 7 minutes before that happened, but that's under 25's jersey. Toast. Gap holding at 7, so I'm pretty okay with it now, and especially okay because there's only 54 riders, 55 riders left in the peloton. And at this stage, we'll have 5 riders. Dad does not need protection. Well, Jouet was the other one. But Haddad's only got a +2 today. What did I say about Haddad and hitting mountain stages and not getting the race day condition he's supposed to have? Okay, starting to drift here. So just a hair more effort from these two. Halfway up the climb. Gap is steady. Catching more breakaway riders. But thinning out the weaker climbers is all that's doing. But it just means there's less riders to help ride for them. Jouet is already 6 minutes down. 6 minutes down. I'd put these guys on auto, but I don't think that's going to go terribly well. How are we doing? 7K from the top. Oh, Lind. Oh, Lind got dropped. I was like, what have you done, Lind? You left the group behind? No, he got left behind by the group. Suddenly we're down to 4. Like, when did that happen? Little acceleration, it's down to 38. What did I say about you leave the group for a second and things happen? That's why I didn't want to put anybody in the break. That's why I hate trying to put riders in the break. Very rarely pans out. Okay, we're almost to the top here with this much smaller group. Gap is going out really fast right now into the danger zone. 900 meters. Let's not burn G for 900 meters. But we will use Haddad to set a pace. There you go. Stop the bleeding. It's frustrating that I'm being forced into... We're not number 1. Yet if I do nothing... the gap just blows up. Alright, 50K left. We need water. I'm going to have Haddad do it. It's only 35 guys here. You know, the good news is we've got the 4, and we are trying to recover as much as possible. Heart rate's super low, so it doesn't matter. Putting it down to 30 does absolutely nothing different than riding at a 77. We are not setting tempo. Setting tempo will cause you to ride harder, like we did with Jouet on the descent, trying to get back in contact to give him some chance. That causes you to blow up. But can't believe how quickly we came down that descent, though. I go back and check on those two and ride with them for 500 meters, and the descent is over. Like we had just crested and clicked the water button, and I go back there, and that's that. So that's why I'm glad I put them on auto. They're 12 minutes down. Okay, definitely conserved for Vatsek. He is going to get back to full strength and has. Montez, full strength. G, he's doing all right. Haddad's doing pretty all right. That's our 4 riders for the top. With the +5, Montez is definitely the number 2 today. The only other guy with time that mattered was Jouet, and it doesn't matter any longer. Checking in on the front, though, for Mark going backwards. Zimmerman, that's quality riders. It's down minute. Alderstone 18 riders still in the front group as they go through the intermediate sprint. Dang. Okay. Holding. We will gain some ground, but they are going to gain time on that climb. That's sick. How far down are we? 7.5 minutes down. These guys up ahead are only 12 minutes, meaning 5 minutes is enough for them to overcome us. We've only got 39. They've got 18. Like, we'll push harder and faster. We'll gain ground, but it's not going to be that significant. This is that ridiculous area of you versus the entire AI. They will work together. They will sacrifice their own race to screw you. Luckily, we've only had to ride for shorter stretches in this one. But here is that. Just ride as gently as you can until we reach the climb. 22K. 20K for us. We're 5K down. We are 5K down on that break. One, they're going to win the stage. That's already certain. But the gap is what's questionable. Okay. I love how when I'm riding 76, it's not blinking. But when I ride up to a 78, it's like, oh, right, yeah, we're supposed to be blinking. I saw that they were drifting. Gee, we've already used his gel. Dad, use it now. This is the steepest part of the climb. It's going to level off for a little bit. There's going to be a couple kilometers that go by pretty quickly and mostly flat. And then it gets less steep, but it will go straight up again towards the finish line. Montez only has a 76, where Haddad has a 77. And Haddad has an 80 for stamina, but it's an 85 for Montez. The +5 really doing him a favor. Meanwhile, Vacek's got a good chance today to hang in there, and I feel like we've got a chance today to be in kind of the final grouping near the top of this thing as the group starts to thin out. But G's going to be gone soon, so Haddad's going to switch over to Vacek as soon as G runs out of energy. And we'll do that now. Archie Ryan.
And he moves on to the attack. It could be decisive.
6.8K. This is where it's going to flatten out. I'm going to wait for it to flatten out just that little bit, and then we're going to get into a response here. And that is here. Here we can respond. 5.9K. Haddad's going to just pull us forward, not at 99 though. They're about to win, and we're still 6.5 minutes down. We are Ryan. Oh, Ryan's only 17th. I thought he was much higher up. 6 more riders dropped. 2 more riders dropped. Arietta, Harper, Perry Pantera not winning this stage. Centerly. There's your first 2. Lipovitz is about to take the stage, and at 50 minutes down, he's not a threat, but at 19 minutes down, a little bit of a threat. Where's... Okay, the key guys, like Bowden, 18 minutes down, are not gaining significant. We're okay. There's your first highest ranked guy at this point, 13:35. Isidore is definitely a ways down on those front guys. In fact, they're only about 2 minutes ahead of us. So 3.9K for Montez and Vacek, and they both have some energy. So Montez comes forward. 3K to go punchy. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Let's put our foot down, break the group up. Vacek can absolutely handle some tempo from Montez right now as we come up on 1.5K. When Montez runs out of energy, Vacek's going to attack, which is happening right now. Final kilometer, break off from the group, catch the group ahead of us. 400 meters, red bar is gone, but we're going to make some contact. Can we get... No, we're not going to get same time. We'll get same time as Ryan. Probably not the breakaway guys were chasing, but we did split off and gain a little bit of time on the chasers behind. So Lipovitz wins the stage, but Vatsek gains a little bit of time over the contenders. The guys in the breakaway, Isidore was 11th on the stage, but he was 13 minutes down. So we helped, just a little bit of effort required, offset what would have been an insane day for the breakaway. Instead, it ends up just kind of your standard breakaway victory. And the guys who were in that touching distance, about 6 minutes down on us, like none of them gained anything significant. So therefore, threats negated. Then, in contention with the group, with a positive race day condition, we were able to do something really good with Vatsek. But meanwhile, let's get back with Jouet, and let's help him try to preserve his under 25s jersey that he has here. 8K to go. Lind, set tempo. Jouet will follow, and we will try to salvage a little bit of time here. So Archie Ryan was given the same time as those guys. Vatsek, who was side by side with Ryan on the back wheel, mind you, but Ryan was not in contact with Carlos Rodriguez, but Vatsek is given a separate time of 6:05 instead of whatever time Archie Ryan should have gotten, or Vatsek being included in the group. But Del Toro was 6:11, 6:16, so we only gain 11 seconds on these guys at the end, but at least we gain a little time. And Jouet, 28-14 down. The huge gap to anybody else. The guys who got dropped in the main group, one by one, and they lost big chunks of time from the front group, but the front group had pulled so far ahead. Jouet ends up the next rider that was not in that peloton. But Vatsek remains 5th. So Only, no changes in the top 8, by the way, but time gaps definitely are different here. So Only lost time. Only was where did Only go? Only was 7 minutes down, so he did get dropped near the top. He went out the back. So when we put our foot down with Montez, we dropped Oscar Only. So that was important. That was very important for the overall race. Closes the gap down a little bit. Kamna is 2 minutes down. Cepeda 3:17. So where was Kamna and Cepeda? Kamna was able to stay in the group, so we only gained 10 seconds on him, as was Cepeda. So of those 3 guys from that breakaway on that previous stage, meanwhile, Valter 5:51. Did Valter get dropped? Or no, he was in the group. Okay, so we just gained the 10 seconds on him. So Vatsek makes up 10 seconds on 3 of the riders ahead of him, but we drop Only and pull back about 1:15 on him. So good job coming back, especially as he's right now the biggest threat because of the most time that is out there. So 6:38. O'Connor, Fisher Black, Ayuso, those guys all just the 10-second difference, but 10 seconds is 10 seconds. And as we had, 5 mountain stages? There's only one left. There is only one left, and Vatsek has averted any sort of disaster on this one. We've gone the right direction. There's one more mountain stage. We've got the 2 more medium mountain stages, which is more our territory anyway, if we can get good race day condition at least. So it's situation definitely on the up. Now the downside is Skelmos lost a lot of time, so that's one less contender behind us, but these guys are still very much in touching distance all the way down to 12th or 13th. And of course you're going to see a big drop here. It's down a minute. Jouet losing 22 positions now, 33 minutes down. Guggen has moved into the lead. Verstraete moves into second. Montez, Haddad, and Jouet are 3rd, 4th, and 5th for the under 25s. It looks like that's no longer going to happen, especially when we're talking about 9 minutes, but only a 74 overall, but with 79 medium mountain, and Guggen being in the break allowed to get those big time gains. has been able to put himself in a position to move up the board. We dropped to 5th as a team in this one as well. Derek G's ailment is headaches, just 2 to 3 days, just minor, and should be able to keep him in the race. So at least at this point, we're looking okay on the Derek G front, though it did impact him yesterday as it dropped him down to a +1, and he definitely did not have the best of days. Quick programming note. So we're a week and a half away from the tax deadline here in the US, and I run a business ×2 and coach. So I have 3 different income sources, and I do my own business taxes. I did it ever since when we were just getting started, and cutting those fine margins. And once you've learned it and once you've done it, even though it gets bigger and more complex, you've already done it and you've already been there, and paying somebody else to do it just doesn't make sense when you know how. So it's a lot of work, but I've already put in 13-14 hours preparation, and there's a lot more to do with a deadline coming. So I've got other time commitments, and I work 70-75 hours a week as it is. Also, it's spring is here, and I have a couple spring projects going on outdoors this week, and indoors for that matter, spring cleaning wise. That is also going to take additional time, so time is of the essence. Oh right, and volleyball starts. That's my next sport. Just finished the boys basketball season, just wrapped up the boys basketball season, and now volleyball starts in the early part of this coming week. I've got a lot going on over the next 2 weeks. I might miss an episode here or there over the next couple of weeks. More likely, I will have some shorter episodes over the next couple of weeks where I can shave off some time to be able to put towards other life things. What's left of this tour? Stage 15, pretty straightforward, and this is a lovely kind of stage for us. If we've got the right day condition for Vatsek, he could absolutely win a stage such as this one. The 7-kilometer climb, right? That very much bodes well for a guy with a good medium mountain, and then just punchy enough, especially with lead out and a descent to the finish. 16 also bodes well for our strategy, as it's a medium mountaintop finish with a 5-kilometer 8% climb, but it's just long enough to not be a puncher's day, just short enough that our combination for Vatsek with team lead out and sprint train before even the base could fare well. And that's another day that maybe we could either win or at least not lose any time, and quite possibly have 1 or 2 or 3 guys in that top 10 or that top 5 hopefully lose some time, gain some time back. But we're talking about small gains over those next 2 stages. 17, I kind of like this one compared to the profiles of what we've seen in these last couple of stages, right? Big stages, big climbs, riders getting isolated early, including us, and trying to hang on. This one, I'm not losing anybody over those 2 climbs. It's only a 123-kilometer stage, so recovery over those 2 descents will be very important. Conserving energy over those 2 climbs will be very important. But I think that I, unlike the AI, can go into the base of the Angleroo fresh with my full team. I would think that some riders will have been dropped by that point because the stage itself is only 123 kilometers, so there will be an intensity to the climbs, meaning we won't be able to conserve that much. We probably won't be at full strength, but I think we'll be in better shape. Not the domestiques, but at least my 4 stronger climbers for the day, and then we'll use the domestiques up early to continue to protect them once they're burnt out. We've got 4 guys to try to finish a very steep, very difficult Angleroo climb. And if we have a +5 for Vatsek or a +4 for Vatsek that day, and he's got, the support he needs around him, I think that's the kind of day where those first 3 guys could lose a pretty good chunk of time. And see them go backwards and catch up. That's the last mountain stage, though. There's one left. 18, back into the difficulties, but medium mountain kind of stuff. We got 3 medium mountain kind of climbs, and then some uncategorized hills, and 2 more shorter categorized climbs. That's a rough day, but it's 178K, so it's a little more drawn out. And again, that's one of those days where it's stage 18 of a tour. You're going to have a lot of guys exhausted. We could hopefully see, 2 or 3 of those top 10 guys blow up and lose a big chunk of time. Maybe see 1 or 2 of them even get dropped on the penultimate climb and lose a massive chunk of time. And then a sprint on 19, a very, very undulating 20. I love that kind of stage. It's brutal, 206K, but with a lot of climbing. That's one where a ton of time losses can happen if somebody gets dropped on the earlier stages of that. And there's enough descents in there that you play your hand right. You can push, recover, be very aggressive. We'll see how the day goes and where we're at timing wise. At this point, I feel like the 5th place we have right now, I feel like we can preserve that, right? We only have the one mountain stage, the Angliru, really, to worry about on going forward or backward. But I think 3 of those guys ahead of us are still vulnerable and could drop. We've seen a minute and a half shaved off in just one stage of Only at the front. So it's starting to come back together, but the other 2 held on. They did not lose time. So they probably have good race day condition. It's probably going to be difficult to get them dropped, but maybe Only's the one to fade and go back. But if we could get 1 or 2 of those guys to fade, we might still have a podium in the cards, stage 21 flat in Madrid. There's not too many opportunities in there for big time loss chunks, though, really. There's only maybe 3 days left for somebody to lose a good chunk of time, and unless they really blow up before final climbs, they're not going to lose much at all. So those 3 guys could still theoretically hang on to a podium. I would imagine one will probably drop, which would maybe give us 4th place. And if somebody behind us can, attack and gain some time on us, maybe we're still 5th place. Disappointing that we're in the scenario we're in, but it is what it is. We'll try to make the best of it. Do what we can to hang on. I mean, we benefited from the exact same scenario, but just the reverse. We were the breakaway rider who gained a big chunk of time, and we turned it into a very good Tour de France result. At the very least, we're on par for a good result here, but can we turn it back into a podium? Can Vuelta slip up one day and us get ahead of him? Can there be enough pressure on those other 3 guys to see them get dropped at some stage and see us go clear? But the thing is if we try to apply that pressure is going to also apply to Vácek. Attacking those 3 and putting them under pressure could see them lose a big chunk of time. But then you go clear, and all those strong guys that are only like a minute or 2 minutes down on us could immediately turn around and attack us, and we could end up gaining 3 spots and losing 6 and go in the wrong direction. It's going to be tricky. That's going to do it for this episode, though. Next up is that 15. Good looking stage for us. Same with 16. I'm optimistic as to what we can do with those before we then go into the very, very intense Angliru stage. I'm a Decathlon gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.